Hi, Ferdinand. Hi, Daf. Thank you for joining MovieJunk today.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much.
Excellent. So we're so excited to talk Truth and Treason, which will be released on October 17th. So we're very, very close to the release. So excited to sneak in our interview just in time. We'd love to
Mm,
learn, what first drew each of you to this project, and how
mm,
did you each connect personally in your characters' journeys?
mm. I think for me, when I first read the script, I first got the for my audition, I got the script through, and I can remember um just feeling, they sent 4 episodes. Usually, when you get an audition, you read the bits you're in, or you read the you read the first episode, and
If you're down
and
it.
then if you get through, you'll get another role. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you get a recall, then you read the rest. But
absolutely.
but for this one, I can remember I started reading it, and yeah, I didn't stop. I ended up reading all 4 episodes, and then obviously because initially it was a TV series,
Yeah.
um, and they've been trying to make this for 20 years. So yeah,
hmm
initially it was a TV series, and then they realized it would work as a feature. They're also doing an extended series, which will be coming out. I think the first 2 episodes are coming out October 17th
Yeah.
on the Angel Guild streaming site. So the first 2 episodes come out then. But yeah, reading that, I felt so kind of um, connected to the script. It was one of the best scripts I think I've read in a long time. There was so much detail
Yeah.
and and so much heart, and you could see the passion that was put into the film. So I was instantly desperate to play this role. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting when, you know, when you're at the very start of the audition process, you're auditioning for different things. So like I hadn't realized it was a true story until I was down for the chemistry read. And sometimes that obliviousness works in your favor, you know, when you don't put too much pressure on yourself as an actor, and you go into the room, and you know and you detach yourself from, trying to control the outcome of something, and you just play the part. So I think that's kind of how the audition process was. But once then, like, I got the offer through for the role, and I started researching about Kai-Heinz Schnibbe, who was the last surviving member of the group, and how John and Russ and Ethan and Matt met Carl and got his story personally. It was so powerful. And for me personally, I'm half German, so it added another whole layer, especially because my mum's from the very north of Germany, from Eckernförde, and the story is obviously from Hamburg, which is North Germany as well, which is fairly close. So all these things just added like a whole layer of depth and actually responsibility on our
Mm.
part as
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
And
actors.
I can remember Ferdy showed us a picture as well of his
Yeah,
of your grandfather,
my
wasn't it?
grandfather.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
What was he called in Hamburg? The most
yeah.
handsome, the most.
It was in his town, Eckernförde. He was called the most handsome man in town.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And
Yeah.
it was the suavest picture ever.
Wow.
Looked exactly like
It
Ferdy.
was just like he had, like, like it was like late
Yeah,
1940s, so like back to a free Germany, and he's like a nice three-piece
suavest
suit,
grandfather. Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
What went wrong? What went
What
wrong?
went wrong?
Was there any, I mean, both of your characters are real life, characters. Was there any added pressure into playing real life characters? Are you able to bring in any of your own artistic liberties, or did you kind of stick to what was more of a historical accuracy?
I think there has to always be artistic liberty, because it's a condensed version of the story. Like, humans are very complex, and life is long, and to encapsulate that into like a 4-part TV series, or even like
Yeah.
an hour and a half film,
Mm.
it has to be so condensed. So I think for me it was mostly about encapsulating that energy,
Yeah.
Carl's energy, and it was so
Yeah.
good to have the Truth and Conviction documentary to like reference how he
Mm.
actually was, because obviously for Dav, it was a book, and it was, like, photos and that kind of stuff, but I had the privilege of actually seeing how he held himself
Yeah.
in real life, like, from the documentary. So yeah, it was about encapsulating the energy, and being aware of the drastic change from being a boy to a, you know dedicated, loyal friend and resistance fighter, and just giving um giving that, that voice
Mm.
for that character is
Yeah.
it's a huge responsibility, but it's about, trusting in what you do and allowing yourself to trust in what the director's
Mm.
vision is as well. Like
And
these guys have been working on it for so long, so
Yeah.
to have them say that was the intention for that scene, that's perfect, well done, and then we could
yeah,
be, yes, that was
yeah.
it.
And I think it's a testament to the casting as well. Sarah
Mm.
Travis and Harry Gilbert casted this,
Yeah,
and I know just from experience of speaking to people that really knew the boys or knew Rudy and Carl, and anyway,
yeah,
kind of how much they say we look like them or encapsulate their energy
yeah.
generally in just our normal lives. I think Matt was telling us even yesterday about when he'd seen when he first saw Ewan Horrocks's Helmut tape, and how he went home and found his wife
When he actually came in for the
yeah,
recall, yeah, when he
and
met him in person,
and he
yeah.
he pulled his eyes out and said, "Yeah,
I've,
we've got him. We
we
found our
found him.
Helmut." Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Mm.
just like I think we all kind of encapsulate the energies of the boys anyway. Definitely
yeah.
with playing risk taker,
Risk taker,
yeah,
impulsive, brash, thrill seeker.
brute. Nah,
What message do you think audiences are going to take away from this film?
it's a good question. I think,
What freedom means.
yeah, what freedom means.
You know,
Did I say my line? So I say I've basically I've
just say
message
it, just
out.
say it. Don't big it up because there's nothing to big up here. Just
Yeah.
say the
Oh,
line
come
and
on,
let's
Jake, I
move
want
on
to put
here.
on a t-shirt. It's there is power in peace. That is the message.
There's power and peace.
And actually kind of peaceful
Resistance.
yeah, peaceful resistance. We're saying earlier on that actually the only act of violence Helmut commits in the film is that he whacks one of the Gestapo officers with a book of Shakespeare.
He whacks him with words,
Yeah, he
Um,
smacked him with words.
Mhm.
to understand that, like guys were so young. Helmut was
Mm,
16 years old when this happened,
Yeah.
um, and to be so ahead of his time and so aware of the fact that fighting with leaflets and a typewriter is more powerful than with a pistol
mm,
is
yeah,
something so incredible to think of at such a young age. And I think Carl, he's a bit brash, he's a bit of a fighter and a bit of a rogue at the start.
mm.
He kind of thinks he's the older brother at the start because
Yeah.
he's older and a bit, bigger. But
A lot of bravado.
yeah, a lot of bravado. But then, like he goes to respect Helmut so much more and look up to him as an older brother
Mm,
and realizes
Yeah.
how wise and smart Helmut is in some ways, but also how young and uh, almost blindly confident he is as well. Like,
Yeah.
he was putting his family and his friends in extreme risk,
mm,
Yeah.
and Carl and Rudy ended
yeah,
up being sentenced, and Carl, was a prisoner of war in Siberia for
yeah,
3 4 years after, fighting for the Germans, being released as like kind of cannon fodder, and all these things happened because Helmut made this decision. But
mm.
it was still, I believe, the right
Yeah,
decision.
the right, and I
Yeah,
think going off what you said, I think the kind of mistakes that Helmut does make as well, he was brash and yeah, he had the responsibility for the three of them as well.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think actually what that does say is that they were young,
Yeah.
they were still learning. They would still make mistakes.
yeah,
I think it's a very human story because
yeah.
it's not black and white. There are moments where you really see kind of the innocence of their youth, and I
Exactly.
think
Yeah, yeah,
and I think even
Yeah.
with you see humanity in every character, whether it's a Nazi officer, whether it's a distressed parent. Everyone has these moments where
yeah,
they don't know if they're doing the right thing or they have inner conflict, and I think that is so human, and I think
yeah,
it's important to recognize that, especially nowadays, to recognize what makes us human and that we make mistakes, and that actually, you know, there's a way of resolving things
Yeah.
with with peace and with actually kind of yeah remembering that we are human and that
Absolutely.
we all deserve to be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ferdinand Daff, I want to thank you guys for giving us the time. I can't wait for fans to see this film, Truth and Treason, October 17th, made by Angel Studios, in
Yeah.
theaters. And again, your performances, both of you, the entire cast was extremely emotional, extremely well done.
Thank you.
That court scene was also extremely emotional too. I don't want to give too much away, but thank you
Yeah.
so much for giving them the time and looking forward to sharing with the fans. Talk soon.
Thank you very
so
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye
Thank
bye.
See you guys. Bye bye.